I love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you.
Thank you for caring.
I do care. I care about you. And I care about my brother. And I know the path he's on right now.
Jake Paul is missing no chance to take a toll on Iron Mike, who has remained the scariest beast of the ring of his time. But as of now, Tyson is 58 and Jake is 31 years younger than him, and this is what's making the fight unrealistic. But at Tyson's age, even athletes are much more conscious about their health, let alone fighting a boxing match with a young man. Fans are crazy with excitement to see the former heavyweight champion back in the ring. But the big question remains, can Tyson still draw in the same kind of crowd he did during his prime? Jake Paul laughed off the idea that boxing legend Mike Tyson would knock him out in their November 15 fight. There's no question Tyson is the most decorated boxer Paul has come up against so far. Iron Mike is a former heavyweight champion with 44 knockouts, and it looks like the 58-year-old maintains the ability to floor an opponent with one well-placed shot. Still, Tyson's last professional fight was nearly 20 years ago in 2005, and the 31-year age gap between him and Paul will be the biggest ever for a sanctioned bout. While Tyson's training clips offer some encouragement, he could look much slower and more ineffective when he's standing in the ring against a younger foe. And that once-famed knockout power is nowhere to be seen. Tyson, once feared for his devastating knockouts, is far beyond his prime. Still, his loyal fan base is eager to watch him return to the ring. However, former UFC star Chael Sonnen isn't convinced that Tyson's popularity will be enough to pack the venue. But here is one great instance from the recent past. Tyson's last fight against Roy Jones Jr. was a massive success in 2020. It raked in over $80 million with 1.6 million pay-per-view buys. Tyson and Paul reunited on August 18 and faced off at the inaugural Fanatics Fest New York City, followed by a press conference, and seemed super excited for the clash. Sonnen, on the other hand, made it completely clear that no matter what they do, the fight will not draw in 80,000 fans at the AT&T Stadium. He added, "It would not matter if it was $10 a ticket or 2 tickets for $10. You ever seen those you bring a can of soup and a kid gets in for? You could do anything you wanted. 80,000 people do not show up to Dallas Stadium to watch that match." He will now have to wait till November 15 to find out whether his predictions turn out to be true or not.
Well, that's how I look at him.
And he's getting like better and better. It's crazy.
I know this. I know that's why I got to get him before he gets too good.
The former baddest man on the planet, Mike Tyson, recently shared a 12-second training clip following a health scare, but it was clear he's not quite the ferocious fighter he once was. With just 3 months to go before his matchup against YouTuber Jake Paul, Tyson seemed careful in his movements. Despite concerns about his health, especially after the August 18 announcement that he'd be stepping back into the ring for a Netflix-featured fight, Tyson reassured fans that he's ready. But here's the interesting part. On paper, Paul faces a massive challenge against Tyson, but with the boxing icon nearing his 60s and having been knocked out in his last 2 professional fights, while the younger influencer is shockingly considered the favorite, not just to win, but to knock Tyson out.
It's good. I thought Mike, I don't know, Mike was a little bit weird. When he was pushing me, though, he was having the time of his life.
Yeah, so when Jake and Mike did their face-to-face at the end of the press conference, first thing Mike did was come to Jake, started throwing punches, some pushes.
He's like giggling and smiling and shit.
Last press run for Mike when the fight was first on, you were tubby. Like, you were the tubbiest I've seen Jake. So I can't blame him for calling you tubby.
Peak male performance bod is...
The fight's outcome might depend on the terms agreed upon, as Tyson will have a limited window to secure a knockout if they go full throttle. If the bout drags on for more than a few rounds, Paul may end up taking out the former champ who's edging closer to retirement age. And this is the last thing Tyson fans would love to see. Paul, fresh off a win against Mike Perry, seems confident he can get the job done. After devouring Mike Perry as an appetizer, "I'm ready for the main course on Friday, November 15, Paul said. "Facing the biggest and baddest boxer ever is a dream come true for me, but it'll be a nightmare for Mike Tyson. Being part of Fanatics Fest alongside some of the biggest names in sports is incredible, and I can't wait to put on a show the fans will never forget." However, Hulk Hogan has totally changed his opinion on the most controversial fight of 2024. The UUA legend was originally excited to watch Jake Paul square off against Mike Tyson, but now he's gone off the idea. Hogan recently got to watch Paul sparring ahead of his biggest fight yet. "Your brother is too strong," Hogan said on Logan Paul's podcast.
Your brother's too strong, bro.
He's too strong, right? Yeah. And he's like really actually super f***ing strong. Like he doesn't look like it. He maybe does look like it a little bit.
Last night, as soon as I saw him set the guy up with the left and keep going over with the overhand right, I was like, oh my God. I mean, really, really scary. I love Mike to death. I don't want him to kill Mike. Jesus. Genuine concern for Tyson was not Hogan's first reaction to the matchup. In June, the 71-year-old unironically branded Paul versus Tyson fight of the century and suggested that his old friend could shock the world by beating the much younger man.
Yeah, last night, as soon as I saw him set the guy up to the left, he kept going overhead right over the bone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, really.
No, seriously. And he has a left hand now that looks like it's firing off. He's
I love Mike to death. I don't want him to kill Mike. Jesus.
Tyson.
Yeah.
Bro, we have to talk about
Wait,
this.
is this the podcast?
Yeah, is this the
I'm excited.
Should we just give him the headphones?
Yeah, you could just stay there.
Hogan is one of the many people genuinely concerned for Tyson when he returns to the ring. However, Paul insists his next opponent is fully capable of mixing it at his level and says anyone suggesting he's not is disrespecting one of the greatest boxers of all time. Paul expressed it's disrespectful to Mike first and foremost. Former UFC fighter Ben Askren has shared his thoughts on the upcoming Tyson versus Paul clash and offered a different perspective from those like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan believes that even at 58, Tyson isn't your average fighter and could potentially knock Paul out. However, Ben Askren isn't sold on that idea. In a recent conversation with Daniel Cormier on YouTube, Askren shared his honest take on the fight. According to him, the real deciding factor won't be Tyson's power, but his stamina. While Tyson may still pack a punch, the ability to go 8 rounds at his age could be the challenge that tips the scales in Paul's favor. Askren's analysis suggests that if the fight drags on, it could be Paul who has the upper hand.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Here, I'm Googling it right now.
Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fought in a very competitive bout,
was
even back and forth. And then Roy Jones lost to Anthony Pettis, who was a very good striker, but is much smaller, right? And is probably past his prime. And
now let us know what you think about the fight and the views of former fighters and experts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos on interesting boxing and sports events. So, see you in the next one.